I woke up in a novel. 1 second, I was me. The next, my brain was force-fed the entire plot of a cliché romance called The Billionaire's Reluctant Heart. And I, Alex Carter, was the star. The schmuck who gets cheated on. Ding! Host soul-binding successful. The underdog comeback system is now online. Main quest. Win back the love of your life. Crush your rival. Make everyone who ever looked down on you grovel at your feet and rise to the pinnacle of success. A cold, electronic voice echoed in my head. Before I could even process it, the door to the private room I was in slammed open. A guy in a gaudy silk shirt, his hair slicked back with enough gel to hold up a bridge, swaggered in with his chin aimed at the ceiling. Tailing him was my girlfriend, Ashley. My girlfriend of 3 years. We'd been together since college. I thought we were going to get married. Now, she was tucked into the arm of Mr. Silk Shirt, her eyes darting everywhere but at me. The guy's name was Chad Kensington, the novel's other male lead, my rival, and a textbook trust fund villain. He strolled right up to me and produced a check, holding it between 2 fingers like it was something dirty. $50,000. Stay away from Ashley. I just stared at the check. The system shrieked in my head. Warning. Classic face-slapping scene triggered. Host, now's your chance. Throw the check back in his face. Proclaim that your honor is worth more than his money. Then deliver the classic line. Every dog has its day. Don't you dare underestimate me. Chad saw my lack of reaction and sneered. Not enough. Alex, what's your monthly salary? Don't be an idiot. Ashley finally spoke, her voice laced with a pathetic sort of pleading. Alex, don't hate me. Chad can give me the life I want. We're from different worlds. Host, now, feel the heartbreak, the rage. Demand to know what the last 3 years meant to her. The system sounded like a panicked chihuahua. I looked up at the two of them. I asked Chad, so this is severance pay? Chad's chin notched a little higher. What else would it be? I took the check. I studied the zeros carefully, then folded it neatly and tucked it into my pocket. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Chad froze. Ashley froze. The system crashed, firing off a string of corrupted code. And at percent. Host, what are you doing? That's not in the script. I stood up, pressed my palms together, and gave him a slight bow. I wish you both a long and happy life together. May your children be plentiful. Chad looked at me like I'd just sprouted a second head. What? What did you say? Your journey together has begun, I said. It would be rude for me to intrude. Peace be with you. With that, I turned and walked out. I left behind 2 human statues and a frantic AI rebooting in my skull. I ignored the chaos erupting behind me. I pulled out my phone, opened Google Maps, and searched for the nearest monastery. Cloudrest Monastery, 30 miles outside the city, nestled on Mount Sentinel. Supposedly a popular place for spiritual retreats. I called a lift and headed straight for the mountain. The system finally came back online. Host, your actions have severely deviated from the main storyline. This is a critical error. Return immediately. You must confront Chad Kensington and demand an emotional accounting from Ashley. I leaned back against the seat and closed my eyes. System, have you ever heard the saying? What saying? The only way out is through. Love is suffering. Ambition is suffering. Attachment is suffering. To find peace, you must lay down your arms. Host, this is the underdog comeback system, not the path to enlightenment system. I sighed. You don't get it. This is the ultimate comeback. They're still struggling in the rat race, drowning in drama. I'm about to transcend the whole damn game. They can't even begin to comprehend my level. The system went silent. It was probably scanning its database, trying to make sense of my logic. The car reached the base of Mount Sentinel. The driver, a kind-looking guy, gave me a concerned look. Hey man, it's getting dark. You heading up the mountain now? The monastery's probably closed for the night. I paid the fare and thanked him. I'm looking for a place to stay, I told him. Permanently. The driver looked at me like I was a cult member, hit the gas, and peeled out. I shouldered my backpack and started the climb. The moon was bright, illuminating the trail. After about an hour of hiking, I finally saw the gate of Cloudrest Monastery. The heavy, crimson-painted wooden doors were shut, with 2 large lanterns hanging on either side. I walked up and knocked. After a long wait, a young novice monk, rubbing sleep from his eyes, opened the door a crack. He blinked at me. Sir, the monastery is closed for the evening. Please come back tomorrow. I pressed my palms together, my expression solemn. Brother, I'm not here to visit. I'm here to join. The novice's sleepiness vanished instantly. He looked me up and down, his eyes wide with shock. Jay, join. I nodded. That's right. I have seen the emptiness of the material world. My heart is unburdened. I have come to seek refuge in the teachings. The novice had clearly never dealt with this before. He was completely flustered. Wait here. I'll get the abbot. He scurried away. A few minutes later, an old monk with a long white beard and gray robes emerged, followed by the novice. The old monk studied me, his eyes as calm as a still lake. My son, why do you wish to renounce the world? This was the interview. I thought for a moment, then paraphrased a few things I'd read online. I see that all life is suffering. Birth, old age, sickness, and death. The pain of separation, the frustration of unfulfilled desires, the burden of our own existence. I am seeking a path to liberation. The old monk stroked his prayer beads and nodded. Do you have any worldly attachments left unresolved? I shook my head. All accounts have been settled. All ties have been cut. The abbot asked another question. Are your parents in good health? The novel had established that the original Alex was an orphan. I have no parents, I answered. I walk this world alone. The old monk was silent for a moment, then sighed. Very well. Your worldly path has ended. It seems it is your destiny to join our gate. He stepped aside. Come in. Warning. Warning. Host is about to initiate the monastic life plotline. This is an irreversible bad ending. Abort mission immediately. It was the system's final ultimatum. I ignored it and stepped through the gates of Cloudrest Monastery. From that day on, Alex Carter ceased to exist. In his place was a new monk, given the name Brother Logan. I settled into life at Cloudrest. The abbot, whose name was Michael, gave me a small, Spartan room, a few sets of simple robes, and a stack of books on Zen philosophy. My daily routine consisted of sweeping the courtyards, hauling water from the well, morning meditation, and chanting. The system spent every day staging a one-sided intervention in my head. Alex, are you really going to sweep leaves for the rest of your life? The world out there is amazing. It has sports cars, beautiful women, mansions. I continued my sweeping. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form, I replied. A sports car is but a shell of steel. A beautiful woman is a walking skeleton draped in flesh. All is vanity. When it couldn't win an argument, the system resorted to giving me tasks. Side quest triggered. Fetch water from the mountain spring. Reward, +1 stamina. Penalty for failure. Debilitating fatigue for 24 hours. I hoisted 2 wooden buckets onto a shoulder pole and began the trek up the mountain path. The spring water was crystal clear, reflecting the blue sky and white clouds. I suddenly realized that this life wasn't bad at all. No performance reviews, no 9 to 5 grind, no rent or utility bills. Just meditation, healthy food, physical labor, and free room and board. It was pretty great. When I returned with the water, Abbot Michael was meditating in the courtyard. He opened his eyes. Logan, your mind is not at peace. I set the buckets down and sat before him. Please teach me, Master. There's a voice inside you. It is loud and incessant. I understood. He was talking about the system. Master, I said, it is true. There is a demon in my heart. It constantly tempts me, urging me to return to my old life. Abbot Michael smiled faintly. That is the demon of your own mind. Spiritual practice is the practice of taming the mind. When you can silence that voice, your heart will find its center. I nodded, contemplating his words. Just then, a commotion erupted from the main gate. A young novice ran into the courtyard, out of breath. Abbot, trouble. A woman is trying to force her way in. Abbot Michael's brow furrowed slightly. My stomach dropped. No way. Sure enough, the next second, Ashley's voice echoed from the main hall. Alex, get out here. I know you're in there. The system instantly came alive. She's here. The classic ex-girlfriend's remorse chapter. This is your chance, host. Go out there. Tell her you still have feelings for her. She'll be moved by your profound love. And then I stood up and bowed to the abbot. Master, she is here for me. Abbot Michael gave me a long look. Go then. The karma that is owed must be paid. I walked to the front courtyard. Ashley was standing in front of the grand meditation hall, dressed in a designer outfit and flawless makeup. She looked completely out of place in the serene environment. When she saw me in my simple robes, my head shaved, she just stared dumbfounded. "Hey, Alex, what? What did you do?" I pressed my palms together and gave her a slight bow. "Ma'am, my name is Logan. How may I help you?" Ashley's eyes immediately filled with tears. "Don't be like this. Alex, I was wrong. I shouldn't have left you for the money. Can we get back together? Please?" "Chad is just a jerk. He was only playing with me." She started to cry, a picture of delicate, heartbreaking beauty. "Quick, host, hold her, comfort her, tell her you forgive her." I reached into the sleeve of my robe and pulled out a small book. It was The Art of Living. I offered it to her. "Ma'am, you are lost in illusion. Life is full of suffering, but the greatest suffering comes from wanting what you cannot have. You sought wealth, but found no true connection. You seek love, but find no peace. The root of this is attachment. This book may help you quiet your mind and see through the illusions. Take it. Read it 3 times a day. After a month or 2, you may find some clarity." Ashley stood there, holding the self-help book, utterly bewildered. She didn't know whether to keep crying or not. "Alex, are you? Have you lost your mind?" I shook my head. "I haven't lost my mind. I've found it. Ma'am, if there is nothing else, please excuse me. I have evening meditation." I turned and walked away, leaving her standing alone in the wind. The system was screaming in my head like a rabid squirrel. "Hey, you blockhead. You absolute idiot." I tuned it out. Abba Michael was right. When a mind demon gets noisy, just put on mute. Ashley eventually left. According to one of the novices, Chad showed up and dragged her away. They had a huge fight at the gate. Chad pointed at the monastery, calling me a coward. Ashley sobbed that he didn't understand love. It was a mess. I sat in my room, meditating, my heart a placid lake. The next day, Chad came. He parked his red Ferrari right in front of the gate and laid on the horn. "Alex, you bald-headed freak, get your ass out here." Abbot Michael sent me to deal with it. I walked to the gate. Chad was leaning against his car, smoking a cigarette, the very picture of arrogant rebellion. He saw me, flicked the cigarette but to the ground, and crushed it with his shoe. "You really did it? Wow. You'd do anything to run away from me, wouldn't you?" I pressed my palms together. "Mr. Kensington, this is a place of peace. I ask that you not cause a disturbance." He laughed coldly. "Peace? You've got Ashley all twisted up. You're making my life a living hell, and you want to talk to me about peace? I'm telling you, Alex, if you were a man, you'd fight me for her fair and square. Hiding in a monastery? What kind of coward are you?" Classic provocation. Host another chance. Show him that even a peaceful man has his limits. "Take it down." I looked at Chad. His aura was practically glowing. From a spiritual perspective, this was someone with great potential for good deeds, great karmic fortune. I stepped forward and took his hand, my expression earnest. "Mr. Kensington, I see a great light about you. Your energy is strong. You have a powerful connection to the spiritual path." Chad snatched his hand back like he'd been electrocuted. "What the hell are you talking about?" My voice filled with sorrow. "Sir, you are mistaken. You did not come here to cause trouble for me. You came here seeking answers. You drive a sports car, you wear designer clothes, you project an image of aggression, but inside, you are empty. You fill the void with material things. You numb your soul with fleeting pleasures. This only creates more suffering." Chad was stunned into silence. You're talking crazy." I pointed to the main hall behind me. "Look, the path to peace is open to all. Whenever you are ready, you can lay down your burdens." He followed my finger, then whipped his head back, his eyes full of suspicion. "Don't even try it. You're not going to brainwash me like you did Ashley. I'm not falling for that crap." I sighed and pulled out a small donation ledger and a pen from my robe. "If your heart is not yet ready, I will not force you. However, the monastery is currently raising funds to restore some of the old statues. Perhaps you would like to perform a good deed to cultivate some positive karma for yourself." Chad looked at the ledger in my hands, then at my sincere face. He probably thought he could intimidate me with his wealth. He pulled a platinum credit card from his wallet and slapped it on my book. "Here, cover all your statues in gold leaf. Is that enough?" I pressed my palms together and bowed deeply. Your generosity is boundless. On behalf of the entire monastery, I thank you. Also, we don't accept credit cards. Cash or bank transfer only. Chad ended up transferring $20,000 to the monastery's donation account, his face a thundercloud. As he was leaving, he pointed at me and spat one last threat. This isn't over. I watched his Ferrari disappear down the mountain road. What a truly charitable man. The system had given up trying to reason with me. It now just issued quests and tallied rewards like a dispassionate AI. I gave a $20,000 donation to Abbot Michael. He looked at me, his expression unreadable. Logan, you are a truly unique individual. My life at the monastery was thriving. Thanks to Chad's donation, my status shot up. The other brothers started treating me with a new level of respect, calling me Senior Brother Logan. Abbot Michael often invited me to discuss philosophy with him, though he seemed to think my approach to Zen was a bit unorthodox. One day, I was dusting the shelves in the library. The system suddenly piped up. Main quest character, the one that got away, is about to appear. Location, mountain trail. Event, she will fall and injure her ankle. Host, please proceed to trigger the event. The one that got away. Her name was Claire Sterling. In the original novel, she was a kind, gentle, and frail heiress. She was the original Alex's high school crush and a key figure who helped him get his revenge later on. According to the script, I was supposed to stumble upon her while she was injured, carry her down the mountain, and a deep, romantic bond would form between us. Quest, rescue Claire. Reward, plus 50 favorability with Claire, unlocking the true love story arc. Penalty for failure, 3 days of random bad luck. I sighed. Here we go again. I asked the abbot for a short leave and headed for the mountain trail. Before I even got to the designated spot, I heard a faint cry for help. Hello? Is anyone there? I followed the sound and, sure enough, found a young woman in a white dress sitting at the bottom of a steep embankment, clutching her ankle, her face pale. She was undeniably beautiful, with a fragile, delicate air about her. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. Oh, thank God. Can you help me? I think I sprained my ankle. I can't walk. I walked up to her and pressed my palms together. Ma'am, please remain calm. I knelt and examined her ankle. It was definitely swollen. Claire's cheeks flushed slightly. Thank you, brother. Now, this is it, host. Time to show your masculine charm. Sweep her off your feet. I stood up, found a sturdy fallen branch nearby, and broke it to the right length. Then, using the sleeve of my robe, I carefully wiped away all the splinters and dirt. I handed the branch to her. Ma'am, you can use this as a crutch. It should help you get down the mountain. Claire stared at the stick, then back at me, her expression a perfect mask of confusion. But it really hurts. I don't think I can walk at all. I produced a small jar from my robes and shook out a single herbal pill. This is the monastery's own remedy for sprains and bruises. You can take it now. It will help with the pain. Claire was speechless. She had probably never encountered a rescue this devoid of chivalry. She bit her lip, her eyes welling up. Brother, could you possibly carry me down? I really can't make it on my own. I looked at her, my expression serious. Ma'am, a monk must maintain a respectful distance from women. It is a core tenet of our discipline. Furthermore, physical pain is a trial for the spirit. You must learn to overcome it, not surrender to it. The more you focus on the pain, the more it hurts. If your mind is free of pain, then the pain does not exist. The tears finally spilled down her cheeks. She probably thought I was insane. I pressed the pill and the walking stick into her hand. Ma'am, I've said all I can. The rest is up to you. All things are transient. Our brief encounter has come to an end. I must take my leave. With that, I turned, chanted a quiet mantra, and walked away without looking back. Behind me, I heard Claire's tearful shout. Hey, you phony monk, get back here. The system made a fizzing sound in my head, like it was short-circuiting from pure rage. Quest failed. Penalty initiated. 3 days of random bad luck. I didn't care. She was but a beautiful illusion. How could she possibly shake my devotion? The bad luck arrived on schedule. Day 1. The carrying pole I used to fetch water snapped in half. I was drenched and took a nasty fall. Day 2. The head of my broom flew off while I was sweeping. I spent 10 minutes chasing it across the courtyard as the wind blew it around. Day 3. During evening chants, the wooden fish I was striking split in two. Abbot Michael looked at the two halves of the ceremonial instrument, then looked at me and sighed a long, weary sigh. Logan, my son, it seems the universe is not quite ready to grant you peace. He sent me to the meditation cliff for 3 days of silent reflection to clear my head. The cliff was a ledge on the far side of the mountain, with a breathtaking view of the entire city below. I sat cross-legged at the edge, watching the distant city lights twinkle on, and felt a profound sense of calm. The system chimed in, dripping with schadenfreude. See what happens when you don't listen to me? You got what you deserved. I ignored it. As night fell, the wind on the cliff grew cold. I was just about to start a breathing exercise to warm myself, a technique I'd learned from one of the old texts in the library. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned to see a tall figure silhouetted against the moonlight. It was Chad. He'd swapped the silk shirt for a black trench coat. He almost looked respectable. He was carrying an insulated food delivery bag. Figured I'd find you here. He walked over, sat down beside me, and opened the bag. Inside were several containers of what looked like gourmet food and a flask. He handed me a set of chopsticks. Eat up. You look like you've lost weight. I shook my head. I am a monk. I do not eat meat or drink alcohol. He scoffed, poured himself a capful from the flask, and downed it. Cut the act. I know you've been having a rough time. Ashley and Claire both came to see me. I was surprised. What do they want? Ashley yelled at me, said it was my fault you gave up on life and joined a monastery. Then Claire chewed me out for putting too much pressure on you. He let out a bitter laugh. Suddenly I'm the villain in everyone's story. I pressed my palms together. Sir, their actions have nothing to do with you. My path is my own. Chad wasn't listening. He stared down at the city, his eyes distant. You know, sometimes I envy you. Just walking away from it all. Must be nice. Not like me. I'm trapped, chained to a bunch of crap I can't escape. I watched him. In the moonlight, his usual arrogance was gone, replaced by a deep-seated weariness. I suddenly realized he wasn't so bad. Mr. Kensington, I began, if you are troubled, you can speak of it. Perhaps I can offer some perspective. He glanced at me, then took another drink. Talk to you? The source of all my problems. But then he started talking. He complained about his father, who only cared about him, taking over the family business. He complained about the sharks at his company, always circling, waiting for him to fail. He complained about the people in his life, who only saw his bank account. He talked for a long time. I listened in silence. When he was finally finished, I spoke slowly. You are in pain because what you want and what you control are two different things. You want freedom, but you are shackled by the identity of heir to the Kensington fortune. He fell silent. I continued. Everything in the universe is cause and effect. You were born a Kensington. That is the cause. You enjoy the wealth and privilege that comes with it. That is the effect. You cannot embrace the effect while rejecting the cause. If you truly want freedom, you must first let go of your attachment to wealth. Can you do that? Chad stared at me for a long time, the wind whipping his coat around him. Finally, a bitter smile touched his lips. No, I nodded. Then there is nothing more to say. If you cannot let it go, you must carry it. That is your path. That is your practice. He finished the flask and stood up. You know, for a monk, you actually make a lot of sense. He left the food bag. It's all vegan. The whiskey, that's on you. He turned and walked away, his silhouette looking a little lonely against the moon. I looked at the containers of food, then at the empty flask. I picked it up, pulled out the stopper, and sniffed. A sharp, peaty aroma filled the air. I hesitated for a moment, but then put it down. I poured the last few drops onto the soil at the cliff's edge. A toast to the world I left behind. Then I picked up the chopsticks and started eating. It was actually delicious. After my 3 days on the cliff, life returned to normal. But the peace didn't last. The final boss of the original novel, my biological father, Harrison Thorne, came for me. Harrison Thorne was a titan of industry, a ruthless corporate raider who didn't know the meaning of family. In the novel, he'd always despised me, his illegitimate son, as a stain on his reputation. Later, when Alex made a name for himself, Harrison tried to welcome him back into the fold, to use him as a pawn in his empire. Naturally, Alex refused, and a bitter, destructive war began between father and son. Harrison's arrival was an event. A convoy of black Escalades pulled up to the gate, and a dozen men in black suits got out. Harrison, dressed in an expensive suit and leaning on a cane, strode into the monastery like he owned the place. Abbot Michael met with him personally. I don't know what they discussed in the abbot's private chambers. All I know is that when the abbot emerged, his face was grim. He summoned me. Logan, the man in my office, Mr. Thorne. He claims to be your father. I nodded. He is. The abbot sighed. He wants you to renounce your vows and go back with him. He also said that if this monastery does not release you, he will donate a sum large enough to buy this entire mountain, just so he can have Cloudress demolished. I said nothing. The rich really do have a simple way of solving problems. Main quest: defy the patriarch. Host, your final battle is here. Harrison Thorne represents the last great weight upon your soul. Defy him, defeat him, and you will achieve true freedom. The system was practically vibrating with excitement. I walked into the chamber and stood before Harrison Thorne. He was sitting in an ornate wooden chair, sipping tea a novice had brought him, his eyes as sharp as a hawk's. So you're Alex. I pressed my palms together. My name is Logan. He snorted, tapping his cane on the floor. Don't give me that. I don't care if you call yourself Logan or Larry. You are a Thorne, and you will not embarrass me by hiding in this place like a pauper. Pack your things. We're leaving. His tone was absolute. I looked at him calmly. Mr. Thorne, you are mistaken. I'm not your son. His brow furrowed. What did you say? In the eyes of the universe, I said, all beings are equal. There is no father, no son, no master, no servant. There is only the great web of existence. You and I are both children of the cosmos, equal in every way. Therefore, you have no authority to command me. Harrison's face darkened. A clever tongue. It seems I've underestimated you. I'll ask you one more time. Are you coming down from this mountain? I shook my head. No. Fine. He laughed, a harsh, angry sound. Fine. We'll see what's stronger today, your philosophy or my money. He turned to leave, already planning the monastery's demolition. Mr. Thorne, wait, I said suddenly. He stopped and looked back at me. I walked toward him, meeting his gaze without flinching. You want me to leave the monastery? I will. But you must agree to one condition. He looked intrigued. Oh, and what's that? I spoke each word clearly and deliberately. You must join it. The entire room went silent. Harrison looked at me as if I just told the funniest joke in the world. He stared for a second, then burst into roaring laughter. Ha ha ha! Me? A monk? Are you out of your mind? My expression was dead serious. I never joke about matters of the soul. Sir, you have spent your entire life chasing power and wealth. Your hands are stained with the wreckage of other people's lives. Your karma is heavy. If you do not enter a place like this, to sincerely repent and cleanse your spirit, you will face a reckoning from which there is no escape. My voice was quiet, but it cut through the silence of the room. Harrison's laughter died. His eyes turned cold. Are you threatening me? I shook my head. No, I'm enlightening you. Look at yourself, sir. There is a darkness clinging to you. It is a sign of great misfortune. Within 3 days, you will face a life-altering disaster. I wasn't making it up. According to the original novel, in 3 days, Harrison Thorne would be the victim of an assassination attempt by a business rival. He'd survive the car crash, but it would leave him permanently disabled. It was the major turning point of his life. A man like Harrison Thorne was arrogant and suspicious. He didn't believe in ghosts, but he absolutely believed in fortune and fate. Just as I expected, his eyes flickered. Nonsense, he snapped, but his voice lacked its earlier conviction. If you don't believe me, I continued, let's make a wager. I will go down the mountain with you. If, within 3 days, my prediction does not come true, I will do as you wish. I will renounce my vows, return home, and take my place as your heir without another word of protest. But if my prediction does come true, you will come back to Cloudress Monastery, shave your head, and become a student of Abbot Michael. I'd put the ball in his court. It was a perfect trap. If he refused the bet, it meant he was afraid. If he accepted, he was guaranteed to lose. Harrison stared at me, his eyes boring into mine, as if he was reevaluating the son he'd never given a second thought. Finally, he spoke. Fine. I accept your bet. The system in my head was in total awe. Host, you are a legend. I went down the mountain with Harrison Thorne. Abbot Michael walked me to the gate and handed me a bundle. Inside were my old clothes and a copy of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Logan, the world is the greatest monastery. Go and continue your practice. I gave him a deep bow. I will, master. News of my return spread like wildfire through our small, dysfunctional circle. The first to arrive was Ashley. She was waiting outside the Thorne estate. When she saw me, the waterworks started again. Alex, you finally came to your senses. I knew you still had feelings for me. I looked at her and pressed my palms together. Miss, I'm merely on a temporary leave to engage with the world. My commitment to my path remains unchanged. She froze. You're still planning to go back? I nodded. My bought is my bought. She looked like she'd been slapped. She turned and walked away in a daze. The second to arrive was Chad. He did 3 donuts in his Ferrari in front of the house, then rolled down the window. Hey, Baldy. Heard you're back in the world. What? Couldn't handle the peace and quiet. I walked over to his car. Mr. Kensington, I have an arrangement with your father's business associate. In 3 days, I will return to the mountain. He raised an eyebrow. My dad's associate? You mean Thorne? What kind of deal could you have with him? I didn't answer, instead asking him a question. Sir, I notice a certain brightness in your expression. Has something good happened recently? Chad looked stunned. Then his face twisted into an expression of disbelief. How the hell did you know that? I just closed a huge deal. Even my old man was impressed. I smiled faintly. I have a bit of insight into these things. You have a powerful destiny, sir. If you continue to cultivate kindness, your future will be limitless. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a new kind of confusion. You're getting weirder and weirder, you know that? He didn't stay long. He just drove away. I could feel his attitude toward me shifting from simple hostility to a complex mixture of curiosity and wariness. The third to arrive was Claire. She was more discreet than the others. She had her driver parked down the street and approached the gate on foot. She looked much better. Her ankles seemed to have healed completely. Brother Logan. She gave me a respectful, formal bow. I was a little surprised. Miss Sterling, there is no need for such formality. She looked at me, her eyes filled with a strange sort of gratitude. I heard that you only left the monastery temporarily, for your father's sake. That is very noble. I didn't correct her misunderstanding. About what happened on the mountain, I was foolish and rude. I hope you can forgive me. She bowed again. After you left, I started reading the book you gave me. It made a lot of sense, and the herbal remedy worked wonders. I pressed my palms together. That you found wisdom is a testament to your own spirit. We exchanged a few more pleasantries, our conversations circling around philosophy and mindfulness. She never once mentioned anything romantic. She was simply there to express her gratitude and apologize. I found myself respecting her a great deal. She was more insightful than I had given her credit for. Before she left, she handed me a business card. If you ever need anything, please call this number. Consider it my way of earning a little good karma for my rudeness that day. I accepted the card. 3 days passed in a flash. On the afternoon of the 3rd day, Harrison was in his study, working. I brought him a cup of tea. Mr. Thorne, the time is approaching. We should get on the road. He looked up at me, a flicker of mockery in his eyes. What's the matter? Can't wait to see me get into an accident. I shook my head. I am concerned you will miss your appointment with destiny. He scoffed and went back to his papers. At 5 o'clock, his assistant came in to remind him about a dinner gala. I stood up. I'll accompany you. He didn't object. The convoy of cars pulled out of the estate. I sat in the back of Harrison's Rolls-Royce, my eyes closed, meditating. The system, in its final days, gave a nervous commentary in my head. Approaching the crash site in 3 miles. 2 miles. 1 mile. As we enter a major intersection, a massive red semi-truck suddenly blew through a red light, barreling toward us like a runaway train. The driver screamed. Harrison's eyes went wide, his face instantly draining of all color. In that split second, as time seemed to slow down, I opened my eyes. Stop, I said, my voice calm but firm. I raised a hand, my fingers tracing a complex shape in the air. A barely perceptible shimmer of light seemed to emanate from my palm, enveloping our car in a protective bubble. It all happened in the blink of an eye. The truck hit us, except it didn't. It was as if the truck had slammed into an invisible, immovable wall. Its front end crumpled instantly, and the massive vehicle was violently shoved sideways, screeching past our car and tipping over onto its side. Our Rolls-Royce barely shuddered. Inside, we were completely unharmed. Harrison stared out the window at the overturned truck, then back at me. His lips trembled, but no words came out. I lowered my hand, pressed my palms together, and quietly recited a mantra. Peace be with you. Mr. Thorne, now do you believe? Harrison Thorne believed. He didn't just believe, he was a convert. When we returned to the estate, he locked himself in his study for the entire night. The next morning, he emerged. He looked at me, and all the arrogance and cold fury were gone from his eyes. In their place was a look of pure, unadulterated awe. He gave me a deep, formal bow. Master, I accepted it. Mr. Thorne, our wager. Do you honor it? He nodded without a moment's hesitation. I do. My Wort is my Bund. That afternoon, Harrison Thorne announced his immediate retirement, handing over control of his empire to a board of directors. He was, he said, retreating from public life to pursue spiritual matters. The news sent shockwaves through the financial world. I accompanied him back to Cloudrest Monastery. Abbot Michael saw me returning, then saw the devout-looking man trailing behind me, and the hand holding his prayer beads trembled slightly. He had probably never witnessed such an aggressive form of enlightenment. Harrison wanted to shave his head on the spot. I stopped him. Sir, your karma is too heavy. Your worldly ties too numerous. You cannot be ordained yet. First, you must do 3 things to cleanse yourself of your past deeds. Only then can you truly begin your path. Harrison asked respectfully, Please, Master, instruct me. I held up 3 fingers. First, you will give away half of your fortune. Use it to build bridges, pave roads, and feed the hungry. Second, you will make a list of every person you have ever wronged, and you will pray for their happiness and well-being every day for the rest of your life. Third, I looked him dead in the eye. You will go to my mother's grave, and you will apologize sincerely and humbly for the pain you caused her. Harrison's expression shifted with each condition. The first one, giving away half his wealth, was like asking him to cut out his own heart. But in the end, he gritted his teeth and agreed. Fine, I will do it all. I nodded. Then you may stay here as a lay follower. Devote yourself to your practice. And so, Harrison Thorne began his new life at Cloudrest Monastery. He was given the name Brother Lawrence. The world of finance lost a shark, and the monastery gained a groundskeeper. The system in my head offered its genuine praise. Host, I take back everything I ever said. This isn't a bad ending. This is the secret everyone else finds happiness while I achieve nirvana. Ending. Congratulations, host. Final main quest defy the patriarch complete. Reward. Aura of Serenity. Aura of Serenity. A powerful spiritual treasure. Protects from all negative energy. Enhances comprehension and accelerates spiritual growth. A warm, golden light filled me. I felt clear, light, as if I could simply float away. Detecting all main quests completed. This world's primary narrative has been irrevocably altered. System is now unbinding. Farewell, host. It's been interesting. For the first time, the cold, electronic voice had a hint of personality. Wait, host, one last question. Go ahead. How did you stop that truck with a magic hand signal? That ability isn't in my database. I smiled. It wasn't a magic hand signal. It was the second truck driver I hired, using Chad Kensington's money. Before we left, I calculated the route, the timing, and the speed. I had the second truck come from the cross street at the perfect angle to ram the first truck and divert its trajectory. As for the golden light, that was the flashlight on my phone. It turned on by accident in my pocket. The system devolved into a string of corrupted code, and then it was gone. The world was quiet. I stayed at Cloudrest Monastery. The abbot said I had a rare gift for spiritual matters and wanted me to become his successor. I declined. I had no interest in being in charge. I just liked the quiet. Harrison Thorne, now Brother Lawrence, became a model devotee. He swept the grounds, chanted the sutras, and worked harder than anyone. He really did give away half his fortune, funding countless charities and public works. Cloudhurst Monastery, thanks to his patronage, was beautifully restored and became more popular than ever. Chad visited a few more times. He no longer came looking for trouble, but to light incense or just to talk. He took over his family's business and was surprisingly good at it. The arrogant kid was slowly being replaced by a capable, thoughtful man. Every time he came, he'd stuff a thick envelope into the donation box. It was his way of thanking the universe on my behalf, he said. Ashley never came back. I heard she took a large sum of money from Chad and went to study abroad. For her, it was probably the best possible outcome. Claire became a regular visitor to the monastery. She never sought me out. She came for the teachings. She funded the construction of a new library and often volunteered her time organizing the ancient texts. The younger novices adored her and called her Miss Claire. Sometimes our paths would cross in the courtyard. She would offer me a gentle smile, press her palms together, and bow. I would return the gesture. Between us, there was only a quiet, mutual respect. One afternoon, I was meditating on the cliff overlooking the city. Abbot Michael came and sat beside me. We watched the clouds drift by in silence. After a long while, he spoke. "Logan, have you truly let all go?" I opened my eyes and looked out at the horizon. The sky was a brilliant, endless blue. I smiled. "Master, how can you let go of something you were never holding in the first place?" He looked at me, and his own smile mirrored mine. "Peace be with you, my son, and also with you." End.